The following is an AZPM original production.
Arizona Science is supported by Research Corporation for Science Advancement.
For Arizona Public Media, I'm Tim Swindle, Professor Emeritus of Planetary Science at the University of Arizona, and this is Arizona Science. Joining me today is Chris Impey, a Distinguished Professor of Astronomy at the University, and one of the final speakers next week in the University of Arizona College of Science Lecture Series. Chris and Daniel Apai will be exploring the possibility of communicating with extraterrestrial civilizations. Welcome, Chris.
Good to be here.
Books, movies, and TV shows are full of them, but what do we actually know about extraterrestrial civilizations?
Essentially nothing. Astronomers have done an amazing job of identifying habitable planets, but we still haven't detected life beyond Earth of any kind, even microbes. So the whole projection to civilizations is well beyond our knowledge.
Is there some significance to the fact that we now know of billions of planets, but still don't have any microbes even?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's because the experiment is really hard. Detecting exoplanets has become routine, indirectly by their tug on their parent star or eclipsing the star. But detecting the microbial alteration of a planetary atmosphere, that's a tough experiment that we're going to do. The GMT, our big new telescope, is going to be good for doing that, but it's still a few years off.
Your talk will be about communicating. How might we communicate with an extraterrestrial civilization?
Well, that's just complete speculation. So, I'm going to start with communication, the fact that we can't talk to other intelligent creatures on Earth, apes that we share 99% of our DNA with, dolphins, etc. So the idea of an alien of unknown function and form probably doesn't have DNA, might not have the same senses. It's pretty implausible a priori that we could communicate with them.
If we do receive a signal, will we recognize it as being from aliens?
Possibly not. The far easier thing might be to show that it didn't have a natural astrophysical origin. Communication is much harder. So deciding that it's artificial in origin is a much lower bar than actually decoding it or deciphering it, because then you're into culture and language and things you don't understand.
As you said, there are two parts to communicating, both talking and listening. Which one should we be doing, or should we be trying both?
Well, the listening is a passive experiment. There's no reason not to do it. The amount of wavelengths you could search and the number of targets you could search is enormous. So that's been going on for 65 years with nothing heard so far. The messaging, the speaking, is controversial. Before he died, Stephen Hawking was very vocal about saying it's too dangerous, because what if they're malign and decide that we should be extinguished? We don't want to betray our existence in case there's a bad outcome. And the three-body problem, for those who've read that trilogy or seen the TV show, is based on this dark forest idea, the fact that, there's a lot of hunters out there beyond Earth and you should probably just stay quiet.
If we do find out about a civilization on another planet, how do you think that will happen?
I still think it's so speculative. I'm not losing sleep over it happening or worrying about it hitting the newspapers. It could be an artifact. That's another possibility. There's the idea that intelligent civilizations will generate a lot of AIs or robots, and so the galaxy will be more likely filled with artificial intelligence or robots than living creatures, and maybe we'll run across some of these artifacts. That's a possibility.
Is this sort of a function of our current state of knowledge? Were people talking about a universe filled with robots or AI 50 years ago, before we had so much AI going on in the news?
No, there's a lot of very anthropocentric thinking about this. The communication itself, the listening and speaking experiments are done with radio waves or optical pulses. Well, that's very 20th century. Maybe advanced civilization would use gravitational waves. They're much more efficient, actually, in terms of energy, and they travel more freely through space. So, it's just a limited technology that we're using.
Thanks for talking with us today, Chris. Looking forward to hearing your presentation. Our guest today has been Chris Impey, an astronomer who thinks about life on other planets and who will be one of the speakers in the final presentation in the University of Arizona College of Science Lecture Series at 7 p.m. next Thursday at Centennial Hall on the university campus. This is Tim Swindle, and you have been listening to Arizona Science. You can also listen to this and other Arizona Science segments by going to the AZPM website at azpm.org.
Thank you to Research Corporation for Science Advancement for their support of Arizona Science. AZPM podcasts are made possible in part by donations from listeners like you. Learn more at support.azpm.org. Thank you.